Welcome to Illustration and Media Digital Applications. This is Module 2, Unit 2.2, Drawing Lines and Rectangles in SketchUp. Today, we will be learning how to draw lines. We'll be drawing rectangles, organizing two-dimensional shapes and drawing them to scale, and turning our two-dimensional planes into three-dimensional form. I'm Sherry McKinley. Let's get started. Okay, I would like for everyone to have a SketchUp drawing opened up on your screen so that we can begin drawing a few things today. Now, I just want to make everyone aware of a couple of locations. The first location is a fairly obvious one, which is the File menu here, and this is going to be where we need to save our work as we go. And I want to make sure that nobody loses any work, as today we're going to be getting our first tutorial and working on our first tutorial for an online submission for 10%. So make sure that you are saving your work. When you do, choose Save As. You will notice that the format here is SKP, which is our SketchUp Models format, and you need to be organized with where you're saving your work. My suggestion is that you do have a SketchUp folder either saved in your documents or on your desktop somewhere that you can, keep all of your projects organized. So that's the first thing that we want to talk about. The second thing, in the bottom right-hand side of your screen, is a measurements location. Now, this is where everything you do will be sort of recorded. So if I'm drawing a line at a certain distance, or if I'm moving about in space and drawing things, this number will change as I go. This is also where I can type distances for various things and it will show up there. Now, if you cannot see that measurements area at any time during this tutorial, all you need to do is just maximize your screen. Okay, so some students don't realize that and they think it's the full size of their screen, but you just need to click on this little button here to make sure that it's full size so that we can see the measurements area there. Now we're going to leave this gentleman on our screen for now just to help us with understanding scale. Later I have that person gone, as I don't need it for any of the work that I'm doing. And we're going to start out today with just kind of orbiting down from last week's lesson. I want us to kind of zoom out a little bit, orbit over top of our work. You'll notice there's a difference between that. And if everyone can make sure that they're located approximately where I am, we can begin. Now we're actually going to work backwards a little bit and do the rectangle command first today. I think that's actually an easier one to do in SketchUp than using the line command. But I do want to make you aware of these two icons. The first one is a rectangle, and right beside that is a pencil, and that will be the button to use to draw lines. Now both of these can also be located under the Draw menu. So if you go to Draw, you'll see Line. There's a shortcut L as well. Or rectangle, which the shortcut is R. I tend to use the shortcuts on my screen. So what I'm going to get everyone to do is to click on the rectangle icon or find it from your drop-down menu. And the first way that we want to do a rectangle is I want you to click, drag, and hold. Okay, so we just want to start anywhere in the green space here by clicking and holding and drag a rectangle onto your screen. Now you'll notice that if you watch in the bottom, you'll notice that my dimensions are changing as I'm increasing the size of this, and I can just, when I'm ready, I can let go. Now when I let go, I will see a rectangular shape on my screen and the dimensions will be there for me. Now that's a very difficult way to draw things to scale, and so it's not typically the method that I use, but I wanted to make sure that we're all very aware of how to do that, because it's one of the biggest things in the beginning that students do, and they don't realize that they're holding their mouse button down and they're not able to type distances. It just basically sort of is there when they let go of their mouse. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get everyone to go to the Edit menu right now. You can use the Alt backspace to undo commands in SketchUp, but I'm going to get you to undo what you've just done as many times until we have a blank screen again. And this time we're going to draw a rectangle, but we're going to do it the way that we can actually type the distance of what we want the size to be for this shape. So I want everyone to click once on the rectangle, and then click once on your screen, but then release that button right away. Click and let go, click and let go, and then you're going to begin to hover your mouse. So you're moving your mouse, but my fingers are not on my left or my right mouse button at all. I'm just kind of hovering here. And what I can do simply in the air is I can start to type the size that I want this rectangle to be. And we're going to do the red axis first. So I'm going to type 10 feet. Got to have the foot symbol there. Separated by a comma, it's going to tell it which direction or how far it needs to go in the green axis. And I'm going to type 10 feet again, and I'm going to click enter. And what I will end up with is a 10-foot square on my screen. We're going to do that one more time. Just pan over a little bit to the right. I'm going to click once on our rectangle. Click somewhere on our screen. This time we're going to hover over here. Type 10 feet, comma, 10 feet, and enter. Now, did you notice that the hovering is very important? So SketchUp requires you to first tell it or hover in the direction that you wish the coordinates to go. So in this case, I hovered in this direction and I got a shape over here. But in the second one, I hovered in this direction towards the bottom right, and my entire shape moved down towards the bottom right. So that's very important. We're going to do this one last time here. Let's go over here. We're going to start a rectangle in this location, and we're going to hover in that direction. This time, let's make it be 5 feet, separated by a comma, and 5 feet, and enter. And you can see now that we have 3 squares on our page, all drawn to scale. Now, one of the awesome things about most architectural software, but certainly SketchUp, is that you need to type the foot symbol in if you want to draw something that represents feet. But if you need to draw something that represents inches, you don't need to type in the inches symbol. So SketchUp will automatically assume that a number is in inches. Let's do this together. We're going to go to the rectangle command, click on a starting location. This time let's type 24, 24. That's going to mean to the software program here that we want it to be 24 inches wide, 24 inches deep. So let's go ahead and click enter, and you can notice how we actually have a shape now. It's basically 2 feet by 2 feet. So that's important to remember, because a lot of people sort of are always typing the inches symbol, and then on occasion they get mixed up with whether it was feet or inches. So it's just easier to remember, don't type inches. It always assumes inches. And if you need it to be in feet, then go ahead and type feet. Okay, we're going to move on to the next command now, which is the line command or the pencil. located right here. And we're going to do this very carefully together. We're going to do it kind of the right way, and we're going to do it the wrong way until we understand what this will do for us in a three-dimensional environment. So I'm going to get everyone to click on that icon or locate it under the Draw menu. And we're going to begin by using the real click and hover method, meaning when you click a starting spot, which means you simply click once on your screen and release, you begin to hover your mouse. Don't drag your mouse, don't hold down that left mouse button, but rather hover. Now when I go in this direction, you'll see my line turns green. Okay, I could keep going as long as I want, and I could click a second location. Or if I go in this direction, my line is red. And when it is red, I know that I'm on axis, and that's really important. When I have it just kind of showing up as a black line, I can't decipher whether the line is going on axis or if it's slightly on an angle. In fact, I know for sure it's probably on an angle and it will end up being incorrect. So for now, we're going to follow these colors until we get our lines drawn correctly. Now there's two ways to do this. I can click a second location. I'm going to get us to do that on the red axis. That will finish off that line, and it's going to allow me to keep going here. And click another one. Notice how the length is showing up in my measurements window down below. And click again. And I'm going to click again. Just kind of lines itself up there. We can click anywhere. And then I'm going to click a final location. Now notice how when I hit the end point of any previous line, I get a little green dot appear. And that guarantees for me that I am in fact on the end point, and it will close off that shape. So I'm going to get you to do what I just did. Click there. And we have a two-dimensional plane using the line command. Now I know I've done this correctly when I get a solid surface at the end of it all. Now I'm going to do it once incorrectly, and you can watch me do this. I'm going to not follow my colors, and I'm just going to randomly click black sort of locations. Watch this work out as a plane. This did work out as a plane. What happens is if you actually get a shape and it comes out looking like this and it doesn't have anything solid about it, then you know that you haven't done this correctly, and it's just basically see-through and it won't actually be able to do anything further. So what we need in SketchUp is we need to have everything showing up as a solid. Okay, so what we're going to do next is just keep those two there. We're going to use our pencil command now to actually type the distances and the lengths of the line that we want. So go ahead and click on the line command, and it's okay to start your shape anywhere you like. I'm going to start mine right about there. I'm going to start to hover in the green direction, okay? And I'm going to, again, just in the air, I'm going to type 10 feet, enter. And I have a line that was drawn to 10 feet, and I'm going to go back on the red axis, and I'm going to type 10 feet, enter. And notice how I don't even have to put my cursor down here. It just does it for me. And this time I'm going to do a line that's 12 feet, enter. And I'm going to come back here. And I think I'm just going to go, I don't know, 8 feet, enter. And I'm going to go in 2 feet and back to the starting point, which is there. So I went 10, 10, 12, 8, and I have a little 2-foot sort of nook in there. Now this would be how I would start drawing a floor plan. Later on we'll be doing that together, but that gives me a shape that's drawn to scale. We're going to do this one more time using our pencil command, line command. So click a starting location anywhere on your screen. Let's hover in the green direction and type 20 feet this time. Enter. I'm going to go back in this direction. Let's do 30 feet. And we're hovering in the green direction now, and we're going to type 20 feet. And we're going to hover in the red direction. Notice how I'm hovering every time too. I mean, the way or the direction that I hover is critical. So I'm going to hover in this direction and type 12 feet, enter. Let's hover in this direction, type 12 feet, enter. And I don't know, let's just keep going here. 12 feet, enter, and then let's meet back up with our starting point. Okay, so that's the pencil command. Now, another amazing thing that the line command does is it can divide any plane into several parts. So let's say, for example, that I use the line command and I click there. And rather than type a distance this time or pick any random location, I'm going to snap to an edge, an endpoint. You can see there's spots where it says midpoint. And I'm going to actually click on the midpoint here of this line and click. And I'm going to hover on the red axis. And when it says midpoint, I'm going to click. Now what I've done here is I've used the line command to divide this larger rectangular shape into two shapes. You'll notice that this is one whole solid plane, as is this and this. But now that I've divided it down the middle, I have two planes that I can work with, adjust, or edit in some fashion. Let's do that one more time using the pencil command. I should call it the line command. Click on the midpoint now on this side of our original rectangle and hover that to the other midpoint and click. Now when I go to my select tool, I can see that I have 4 shapes within one, and each one can be modified. Okay, you should have something similar on your screen as I have on my screen. And what I've just asked you to do is, this is the 10-foot line I mentioned, going in the red direction. Then of course I went 12 feet here in the green direction, and I went another 10 on red and another 12 on green. And then I asked you to come back down again and do 2 more lines, which is what I did here. So your shape should look similar to this if it is correct. Now you may have gone in a different direction than I did, but this is basically what the intention is there. Now we're going to move on and figure out how to make these interesting looking shapes turn into 3-dimensional form. And the first thing I want us to do is to really orbit over top of our work and zoom out quite a bit. And I'm going to get you to erase everything on your screen, and this is something we haven't done yet. It's quite easy to do. This is one of the times that we're actually going to be selecting by dragging and holding our left mouse button down like we did on our first tutorial in navigation. So if I go to my black select tool here, top left hand side of my screen, and I hold down my left mouse button and begin to drag over all of the objects on my screen, they will turn blue, which verifies for me that they are in fact selected, and I can simply go ahead and hit delete on my keyboard or delete from the edit menu. Sometimes for the Mac users, the delete key on the keyboard doesn't work. It will for the Windows users. So in that case, you want to go to the edit menu and choose delete from that location. Now we're going to work on our tutorial now and begin it. And so we're going to do this using both the rectangle and the line commands to do this. Let's start out by drawing a 20-foot by 20-foot rectangle. Again, choose the rectangle, choose a starting location, hover, and type 20 feet, comma, 20 feet, as I have done. Then what I want us to do is go to the zoom menu right-click on our screen and choose Zoom Window. Hold down your left mouse button and drag around the shape so we're closer to the shape. And we're going to use our pencil command to go from midpoint to midpoint, 2 clicks, and then start another one from this midpoint to this midpoint until we have 4 planes. And let's just click on them and verify that it is in fact divided into 4 separate planes. Now this is a new command. This can be found under the Tools menu. It's called Push-Pull. And this is the part of the tutorial today that enables us to turn 2-dimensional shapes into 3-dimensional forms. So you'll find it under the Tools menu, or you will see a shortcut here, which looks like a little brown box with a red arrow sticking straight up from it. And this is going to make us or enable us to create really interesting forms now. So I'm going to get everyone to click on that icon. The same process really applies here. We want to be able to just click once on any surface and hover. Now we're going to go ahead, I'm going to get you to choose this one at the top here and click only once on it and start to hover your mouse. And you'll see that I'm pulling it up in 3 dimensions. And if you look over in my distance, my measurements window, it's telling me how high it's getting. Now I can go down into the earth, or I can push pull this up. Now what I'm going to get everyone to do is I'm going to get everyone to push pull this shape by typing a distance, and we're going to type 40 feet for that and hit enter. And you'll see that I took a smaller square and I made it be a 3-dimensional form that's actually 40 feet high. Let's try that again, and we're going to go in increments of 10. So we're going to go to the push-pull command. I'm going to click once on this surface and hover my mouse and type 30 feet, enter. Just typing in the air and it's working out. A third time, let's use this surface. Click once, hover the mouse, 20 feet, enter. I might want to orbit here. Click on the surface, hover the mouse, type 10 feet, enter. Now that's going to be the first part of your tutorial. What I'd like everyone to do to finish this off, and you'll find instructions online, is we're going to turn this into the most interesting object that we can using the pencil and the rectangle command. Now I'm going to do something here right now by using the pencil command or the line command to put an X through this. Now I have a more interesting shape. I can push pull these. That's fun. You can also draw shapes on the side walls of things. So maybe I would want to have a rectangle here, and I would push pull this to the inside. I'm going to put a rectangle here and push pull this down. I'm Sherry McKinley. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.